Let me loose. Do you hear me? You will be soon as big as a giant. Or, like all the others, dead.
Hello, potential survivors. Ghostfake here, and I'm here to talk to you about a perfectly harmless, yet sometimes fatal affliction called subscriber's guilt. This unbelievably dangerous disease occurs when YouTube recommends a video that you may like, and based off the one video, you subscribe to that channel, only to find out that every other video on that channel is complete trash. Well, I'm here to tell you that at Survivor's Guilt, you don't have to worry about that, because every video is trash. Here at Survivor's Guilt, we determine your chances of surviving your favorite and not favorite horror movies, using our patented survival stat technology based loosely in science. We calculate your exact odds of surviving through these movies. Did I say exact? I meant exaggerated and biased. We do this by taking a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your chances of suffering survivor's guilt. So don't afflict yourself with subscriber's guilt, try survivor's guilt, and prepare to be disappointed.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to BTB Podcast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, and of course, I am always joined by my partner in crime over here on the BTB Best Friend Train, Mr. Len Miller.
How you doing today? What's going on, everybody?
Doing wonderful, sir. Thank you for joining me as always. How you doing, buddy?
I am good because you can tell this week is different. I finally somehow, by the grace of God, fixed my camera, so I'm actually live and my beautiful self here tonight, so it's a good thing. But doing good. Just getting into the holiday spirit. Stress, I think this week started the stress with that, but I have to give compliments though to Freeform and AMC. They have been top notch, I think, this holiday season with their movies there. So, when you're late at night and you're trying to get to bed, I pop on either one of those stations and I always find a gem. So it's nice.
It has been pretty good. Yeah. I will say the same, just like kind of being totally into the holiday movies that are on right now. Anytime I've turned on, it was just Freeform was one of them, AMC, and I think that's it for me.
Those are the only two. I mean, a lot of the streaming services, obviously, like Prime, Disney Plus, they got their, they're pretty stacked with their selections too. So I mean, it's good for those that maybe might not have them on DVD or Blu-ray. I feel it's a good selection, for audiences out there. So.
Well, the fun part is for everybody. watching right now. We've got some changes coming up with BTB, things like that. We have a very special guest tonight, and I'm going to introduce him in just a second. He's back again for another week, and he may be back again. We might have a third mic for a little while, and he's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
But before I introduce him, I do want to give off two fun things with BTB that are going off right now. Next week, we're going to have a very extra special episode. We have a bunch of fun guests coming on the show, but Blaine Weaver, director of Getaway, which is coming out on December 22nd. He will be joining us on BTB. And also the Nelms brothers, Esham and Ian, are going to be joining us as well. They directed the movie Fat Man, Mel Gibson's new movie out right now. Jarrod, I think, is going to join us again. Casey might join in. We're going to be playing a game. It's called How Long Would You Survive in a Horror Movie?
I can't wait.
And we're going to have a fun conversation with that one with the guys. And then the second half of the show is going to be your favorite Psycho Santas. So we got to get prepped for that because it's going to be an interesting one for sure. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff. So we're kind of changing the format, as you see. Len and I are having more guests on, things like that, kind of enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
Making this a fun place. Oh, Tina's there. Hey, Tina, thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Tina is great, and she just did an amazing job with the Indie Pods United Summit last week. It was fantastic. They're killing it over there. And we're very fortunate from the Scene Snobs to be a part of it. So thank you very much. Go check out her podcast, Psychedelic Podcast. Very fun stuff. She's just a wonderful person to listen to. I want to come on soon with Rob. Anytime, of course. You guys are always welcome. You guys are so much fun. But go check out their podcast as well. We started a Patreon. Well, I kind of pulled the cord on that one and started a Patreon last night. So there are many tiers now because we have a lot of shows. So please feel free, whatever you're kind of a fan of. And if you have any opinions on it, please feel free to let us know as well. For us here on the Behind the Box podcast, right now, we have two tiers. We have the Be Kind Rewind tier, and which I'm sure Len is a giant fan of because he hated when people didn't rewind back in the day.
Oh yeah, video stores.
Oh yeah, it was always a pain in the neck for sure. And then we have the staffer, the video store staffer pick, or the new releases as we call it tier, and you get some really fun stuff. But one of the big things with the new releases tier that you get is early access, and actually just access in general for a while, to a Behind the Box extension show, which is our bracket movie tournament show. And we're going to have guests on do it. We're going to do it kind of divided up. We'll have like maybe 3 or 4 shows a month where we handle a different bracket each month. There's a lot of perks to being a part of that and being able to watch that show. But if you've ever seen Lenny and I do a bracket before, it's fun times. So yeah, we can get into those debates, but yeah, so that's part of the Patreon for Behind the Box. So 2 tiers, go check it out, the Scene Snobs Patreon. But I have left our poor guest sitting. I'm watching him too because I have him on camera here, and he's smiling. I'm sorry we couldn't get to you. Thank you for hanging out in the green room all night. I'm going to pull a Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel. No, let me bring him on. Jarrod DeBarlebon, who is one of the best guys I know. Thank you for coming on the show, buddy.
Yeah.
You can't see me shimmy, but my hips are moving. My hips don't. I can't sing the rest of the Shakira song.
No, you have to now. Pull up the lyric.
I don't know the words.
Just go back.
I can just do the shimmy.
You know,
we won't get sued if you don't know the words. So, guys, I'm very excited. I'm glad you're back. I think Casey said he might pop in too. I just started sending the link to people. I was like, just jump in. Whatever. That's what this is. Yeah, let's have a good time with it. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
But one thing we're talking about tonight, I put body sway, not body swap. Oh my God, I have to edit that. That's my problem. So anyway, I won't put it up for right now. We are talking body swap movies tonight. The switching of bodies, and somebody's got to learn something by the end of it. So, one thing I wanted to get into, because Jarrod had a different outlook on what I was thinking when it came to the body swap movies.
Okay.
And I want to hear some of your choices, Jarrod, because I want to get into the debate first if we can. If there is, because I'm not saying you're wrong. You were very convincing.
I think Jarrod's going to have some interesting selections. Just like quickly knowing him, I think he's going to pull some doozies out. So I'm looking forward to this part.
So the first one that I wanted to throw out was Criminal with Kevin Costner and Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mick didn't think this was a body swap movie, but I still say it is because, for the most part, Kevin Costner's psyche is being taken over by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Or is that the other way around? No, yeah, it's Kevin Costner is being taken over by Ryan Reynolds, which is the epitome of what somebody let the cat down here.
Oh, he's going to die by the end of the episode.
No,
he's going to body swap with the cat.
A continuity of my son always running in towards the end of the show in his boxers, giving me a hug before he goes to bed. So it's fine. So.
My internet is messing up tonight.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're going to lose Facebook users.
Oh, jeez. All right. We can hear you.
Are you frozen? No, he's
Nope, I'm not. You can hear me now?
Yeah, no, we still heard you before, so just keep going, dude. So
yeah, we're listening.
So
I hear what you have to say.
So I gave Mick a bunch, but my first one was Criminal, because of Ryan Reynolds constantly taking over Kevin Costner's brain.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought about what technically has to count as probably one of the best body swap movies of all time, and that's Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
I gotta.
Which I'm gonna go on a rant about, but please go.
No. I'm defending Jarrod because that was on my list too here for tonight because I got my list on my phone here. So
I am ranting about the body swap portion of Face Off, but that's for a whole different reason.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but I want to hear the rest of the list though. First.
But why would you question that one as a body swap, even though they had completely separate heights, body mass?
It's hairlines, completely different hair. Yeah, you just switch faces, and all of a sudden it's like, nah, it's good. We're good. Yeah. People will believe
it works.
No, I can't do it. I can't. It kills me every time.
Oh, jeez.
I still watch them. Do not get me wrong. I still watch the movie. Listen, there's a lot of things that kill me about a lot of movies, but I still watch them.
But see, to me, how I approached it, it's I don't want to say it's tough, but when you say body swap, I mean, really, they did kind of swap bodies. I mean, wasn't like they knew right away, this is Nick Cage, or they knew it was, Travolta. I mean, they really switched everything all together. So, I think that was, and not to mention just being a great, just fun action movie. Can't go wrong with that.
Well, all right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it with Face Off first, because I knew Face Off was going to come up tonight, and I wanted to really just get my opinion out there. Because, yes, it is a body swap movie. In terms of, what the staff pick is tonight, and, the Freaky Fridays, or the Vice Versas, or the 18 Agains, or the Like Father, Like Son, stuff like that. It's not in that situation. It's more of a science fiction-y body swap. But here's what bothers me, okay? Why not just swap the brains or something in the movie? Why call it Face Off, and then it makes no sense.
Because you can't move their brains, they'll die.
There's pretty transfer.
But medical science hasn't. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody out there, but please, I don't think the science has found a way to transplant our brains there. I mean, it's.
But then you're dealing more so into the sci-fi era anyway, instead of the magic aspect of just swapping heights, in Freaky Friday.
Yeah, I mean, we got Mr. Smithers, Mr. Burns, and Homer Simpson over here, but that's about it. I mean,
all right. Listen, I think it's a stretch when it comes to Face Off. Yes, it's a body swap movie.
It's not.
But it's not really.
It's not though. It works. It works for what the theme is for tonight.
All right, I will. I'm going to put that in the science fiction bin of body swap.
Wait till you get to my list. You're going to be like decimating it probably then. So,
and I'm not.
I need to know like what are my criteria for body swaps? Like purely magic or?
No, I'm not against. Like you said, altered carbon, and I'm not against that because of how we talked about it and the way they did the science fiction portion of that of like making their whole presence, their whole consciousness into a chip that you can switch from body to body, and the body is just a body. Like it's not, there is nothing to it. So for me, I think like Face Off's a little different because okay, so Face Off is different for me. I'm not talking about other scientific movies like this, but like Face Off to me is, it's so weird. Like they just did it wrong because I get why they do that, but like they look so different. Like their bodies, you'd be able to tell them apart, and it's like it did. I think it was just kind of like very loose with how it did it.
So if you say putting a chip into another body counts as a body swap, would you consider Surrogates a body swap movie also with Bruce Willis?
I don't think I saw Surrogates, so.
Okay, premise of Surrogates, and I do not consider Surrogates a body swap movie in the slightest. It's a movie where everybody gets their own avatar robot to go out into the world, and they get to sit at home in like old pajama pants and dingy overcoat bathrobes while their robots look pristine out in public. And spoiler of the movie is the Bruce Willis's character ultimately unplugs everybody, so everybody has to now come out and look absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call that a body swap movie. I think that's
it's not. It is absolutely not a body swap movie. No. But if we're just putting chips into people like altered carbon,
mm-hmm.
You can. I mean, you can. With I think with tonight's subject, I mean, you can go outside the realm. Like you could really expand it, especially when it comes to like the sci-fi territory. You can definitely make it work. So yeah, you could. For your description, Jarrod, do it. So it's good work.
Well, okay. So for me, here's
there we go.
No. For me, the thing is, you have a lot. You can like, but now you're talking like, okay, do clone movies where you switch out something like the sixth day when he comes in and he's a clone.
That was Keanu Reeves, right?
No, that was Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger, yeah.
So he comes home and he finds himself with his family and stuff like that, and he finds out like a clone's been switched out, and that's what he's fighting with. Could you consider that a body swap movie? Yeah, but it's stretching.
But that's like a slightly different genre, though. Like clones and twins are different than body swap.
Yeah,
like if you look at like look at Looper. Looper is essentially an age swap, which however you want to figure that, but it's not a
travel.
Time travel is not counting as we're setting the guide, and that's the bar. All right.
I will not count time travel because then you can open up this door of body swap. Like to me, a body swap movie is where it's an unexpected occurrence where two people switch consciousness and they're flipped into each other's bodies and they're living each other's lives.
So you're saying it's not like somebody getting taken over. Like I was going to say, one which could be a stretch. I could try selling it would be the Thing, because technically you have an alien organism taking over perfect replica of a human body. So, and you're not going to know the difference. So really you are kind of replicating and taking over somebody's body in that sense for sci-fi.
But to that vein, you also have Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, which is also a good one too.
But for me, you think about it like this. Okay, so let's say we perfect cloning, right? In real life, we perfect cloning. We can clone human beings. So that's basically the same as the Thing cloning somebody, taking somebody, and you know, because that's how their biology works or their science works. Or something like what would we just say? What was the movie we just said?
Looper.
Well, Looper's a time travel. Looper's
Okay,
two of them, but it's like the Bill and Ted thing or the Marty McFly thing. Like, just because you're there at the same time as a previous version of yourself, that's not a body swap. That's just in the, you know, I'm going to call that a time cop. That's going to be a time cop. Where if we have body swaps, we have a time cop where you're just in the same place because you can time travel. Patent pending. So that's the genre now, the time cop genre. So for me, like a body swap, like a Freaky Friday or something like that, like that's where, you know, and I'm not saying it can't be done scientifically. It can. And like, yeah, technically you're right. Like that Face Off would be a body swap movie. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with how they did it because it makes no sense.
Wait, we're talking about swapping bodies, and then we have to make sense of that?
Yeah, what? Somebody's face get taken off? You can't, you know.
No, you have to
disconnect all the muscles in your face and just put them on somebody else?
It's like the guy said, best line. No more drugs for that man. It's like you gotta suspend disbelief here. So, you know.
Well, I'm gonna leave it up to the audience who's watching. Do you think that Face Off is a body swap movie? Let me know in the comments. And let me know what you think about like Altered Carbon, things like that, the scientific realm. Now, getting into the actual, like what we would call body swap movie, Brian says, Face Off is not a body swap. You have the same personality. That's a good point.
I need him to explain that one a little bit more because I'm struggling to figure that one out with a body swap movie. Because if I'm thinking about like Free Friday with Jamie Foster and Lindsay Lohan, they had the same personalities in different bodies.
That is true. They did. So your personality does transfer to the other person. That is correct. What
was the one with the
vice versa? The one I'm going to show my stepson when he turns 10. Just be like, hey, this is what happens when you hold like ancient amulets and shit. It's just kind of so. But that's a good point. I mean, I see what I kind of think I know where Brian's at with it. And I agree. Like, okay, so when you go in, all right, I'm going to try to explain this the best I can because I am not moving on all cylinders tonight. So, because body swap is a hard science to follow, and I'm getting there. So, Face Off. Here's my problem with Face Off being a body swap movie. Yes, it clearly is. That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. My part of it is they took the faces, they switched them. Now, let's put it this way, and I am not getting into anything else, but Jarrod, say you and I switched faces. So we just switched faces. It is the same thing. It is the same thing as switching faces with anybody. Would they know that you weren't me?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this. I went with you first for a reason. Switch my face with Lenny. Would you know that it wasn't me?
No.
Oh, man, that's racist.
I mean, you're two big guys, and I've met you online. So unless personality and like something specific jumps out at me about you two.
Oh, okay. Have you ever seen the cover box art for Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins?
No.
Okay, so you have Tim Robbins literally having his arm on top of Martin Lawrence's head. That's basically Mike and I. So
I'll pull it up. Yeah, that would probably be about right in terms of.
We have about a foot difference in height, so that's the only way we're going different. So
I guess that's sort of where I'm going with it, but at the same time, I my point for all of this is like Nicolas Cage and John Travolta clearly look like two different people.
Absolutely.
And it does not just stop. It does not just stop on at their face. So they have different hairlines, they have different heights, body types.
But they tried accounting for that though. When they doing that construction, weren't they trying to like do like the fill-ins and everything else, try to perfect it as best as possible though?
They did, but did they? Like that's what
in terms of the movie, they did buy it though. His crew bought that. It was, it was him, or however you want to say it. So,
but you also have to remember they tried their best to do a complete body swap, because he had like a scar on his John Travolta's character had a scar on his chest that he wanted to keep from when Nicolas Cage shot him for his son, and he said he had to remove it to look like Castor Troy.
Okay, all right.
So they tried, true enough, but like you and me as the audience, we completely understand John Travolta and Nicolas Cage are two completely different people. But for movie magic, they tried.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to just call it, and I'm going to say that it's because we have not talked about one actual body swap movie.
No.
We've only talked about.
But Face Off is a good movie, so it's okay if we spend the first
Face Off was
25
really
minutes
good.
talking about Face Off. So I'll be okay with that.
I'm gonna call on my end because I was the one arguing that it is a body swap movie, but just they didn't think it out as properly. Like I really think that the Face Off portion of it, although very cool, like if you were going to do that right, if you were going to tell that tale, you get twins to step in, like actual identical twins. One is a bad guy, one is a cop, and they need to find out. So they go and they recruit them and they switch faces. And that's how it works. Cause it's like, but maybe there's some subtle differences, but the writing standpoint.
I'm scared about that one because then we get into double impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, yeah. Listen, Jean-Claude Van Damme had like 6 movies where he had a twin in them. So
yes,
and they're all sort of body swap in a way, where he just takes over for that twin. I'll take your face off. Worst line in a movie ever. I
gotta do it
the worst. Take your face off. Yeah, it's so bad. But so, all right. How familiar are you guys with the old body swap movies? Like, because if you remember, the 80s sort of like had a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to have fun with my selections here, but I feel like we're going to be like over analyzing like all our picks here tonight. Here, so
yeah, that's what makes it fun. Makes the
that's true. That is true. But
so the one that I threw out to Mick also that he disagreed with was Big, because he says that one's not a body swap movie.
Big is
it's not. That is not a body swap movie. That is not a body swap movie.
He puts a magic and they swap it out.
No, it's not.
Sure enough, he gets swapped out for his own body.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's still a body swap movie.
Yeah.
It's an evolution movie.
I mean, the same can be said because I was going to say 13 going on 30 with Jennifer Garner. I actually like that movie a lot. It's just her getting older. So it's just.
See, that's even less of a body swap movie because she starts out in her own time when she actually is 13 and then jumps ahead to her own time when she's actually 30. So that's more of a time jump movie.
Oh, jeez.
You can even
But she still has the mind of a 13-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she didn't change. She didn't change. You're right. But that doesn't mean that it's a body swap movie because like Big for me is he wished, he got his wish, and he evolved real quick. So he didn't swap bodies. He just got older at an accelerated rate.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to think about it, if you cut down that movie Jack with Robin Williams, where he has the accelerated aging,
Okay.
you cut out some stories in that, and then all of a sudden you have Big. You know, like
Correct. But Big's just better.
At the end, Jack dies.
See, like my point with Brian is the same. Yeah, Jack does that because of his accelerated rate. Like all you're doing is adding a magic element in Big, where he goes forward, you know, to who he is, but he's still in his own time. He's not switching a body. It's his body just evolved.
And
like
then he goes back. Yeah. Okay.
And then he goes back. And that's like, I kind of agree with Brian. It's not a body swap because it's the same person. And, you know, to me, that just doesn't kind of match up. For me, like something like a Vice Versa or 18 Again, or something like where they actually swap bodies, and it becomes part of the third act that they have to get back in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a certain time that they have to get back to it, or things are going to stay that way.
Okay.
Or they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like Freaky Friday.
But
Yep.
But you're right, though, Mike, though, in the sense that, you know, the 80s did produce a lot, you know, with it, because they saw how well Big turned out. And given, Big was, I think, was like 86. So it's kind of already, you know, decades was already over, but they tried jumping on that wagon. I mean, it worked. You got some good movies out of them. I'm not saying classics, but definitely good movies, though. But, you know, I mean, but like, okay. Not jumping off the 80s, but I was going to say, what about a movie like Get Out? Like, I like that. You know, technically you're taking the entity into another body.
Which is what Face Off should have done.
Okay.
That's what they should have done in Face Off, to say they're going to switch the bodies. Then I would have been like, okay, well, it makes sense why now it's Nick Cage in John Travolta's body.
So you're saying basically Get Out is a better just version of Face Off, in your opinion, then?
I listen, it's been a while since I've seen Face Off. I'd say maybe about a year or so. Why did they put the face on Nicolas Cage?
Because he woke up and started threatening people.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah. I forgot exactly why I did it. So, like with Get Out, I mean, listen, it's Get Out. It's wildly better than anything else we're talking to at the moment. But
yes,
is it a body swap movie? Yes, but the same way I'm
considered it to be, though. I mean, you're going from like, you know, what would be like a 20-year-old to like, you know, 65-year-old, but depending on who her body you get, but still, it's just, I don't know.
You're already here.
More so call Get Out a body swap movie than
but you still
in a weird way.
But you still don't sound sold, though, Mike. You still do not sound sold.
No, it's not that I'm not sold. It is a body swap. They are swapping bodies. And maybe they're swapping identities. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
It's 8:00. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, world.
Hey.
Welcome to the show. That is awesome.
Love you. Bye.
So I think Brian's making fun of me, but I don't know. Body swap would me becoming a 6'9" podcast producer and you becoming Mick being a 6'2" athlete. All right, you're not making fun of me, but you're stretching it with that athlete thing.
Brian speaking truth. I don't know, possibly.
He always played basketball and he always plays softball and stuff, so he's athletic. I'll give him that.
Yes.
Even at the tender old age of 72. No, so
the insults come out when the man's not here to defend himself. So, you know.
Oh, he will be. He's got a show coming out next. So
nice.
Sports Night.
True.
Okay, so yes, I'm gonna classify Get Out as a body swap movie because it is. Just like Face Off is. Face Off I have problems with. I think Get Out fixes those problems in the way they handle it.
Okay.
The
So
science of it.
Then I'm going to ask you this one. And I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Bruce Almighty. Would you consider that a body swap movie?
Well, he becomes God, so yeah, why not? You can.
That's not a body swap movie. He's just bestowed the powers of God. God doesn't lose his powers.
I don't know. You stretching it.
You're really stretching it.
No, you are. No, I get it, but again, I feel like this type of specific like movie genre really like sometimes you gotta just go outside the box, spread it out, kind of work with it, because of situations like that. I mean, because my one too was what about like in a sense like the cross-dressing type movies like a Tootsie or White Chick, Joanna, Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, would you kind of consider those though the swaps, or are we kind of
no, not in any way.
Not
at all.
No, okay.
I would, because it's just. I mean, it depends on of course the context of the movie we're talking about, but something like
I'm not talking about like a transgender. I'm just talking about like just the drag ones there. So
yeah, like the Joanna Man or Tootsie, and I get it. There was if anything, I would call that more of a con movie, if anything, because they are trying to con a business or something to see them as a different identity, and so they're identifying as something they're not to get a job, or something like that. So to me, it's a lot there. They're not body swapping. Like Ryan Reynolds had another one with Jason Bateman years ago called the Change Up, where they switch bodies.
The Change Up.
That's one I might.
Yeah, where he changed places with a single. Ryan Reynolds was the single guy, and Patrick Bateman was the married guy with kids, and they had and they did a body swap at a urinal.
Jesus, I would even call what do you call it? That movie, The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider.
You're right. Yeah. You're right.
So like stuff like that, like to me, is a body swap movie.
Gotcha.
The one that came to mind the most during that I couldn't remember the name of, it was a TV show, and you should remember this one by now because I said it's a TV show, is Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap. Every episode he was in a different body.
Take over the bodies for like a day or a week or whatever the premise was. Yes, because you're swapping out the bodies. So yeah.
Okay.
I would, but now we're getting into the sci-fi realm, so that you would have to kind of work with, because like between The Thing, Body Snatchers, like Quantum Leap, I mean, you're getting into that element with sci-fi where you're kind of having to stretch out that,
what classifies as a
fabrication. Yeah, so
it's not a swap because the other consciousness isn't taking over his body.
We don't know that. We never saw what happened to his real body.
Yeah, Brian agrees.
Fair enough. Would we call it a body swap movie? I would call it a consciousness swap movie, but I would say that's maybe a subgenre of the body swap. But it works. Again, everything you guys said, I classified in my own way as a body swap movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just said what works doesn't work. So like Quantum Leap, yeah, of course, it's a body swap movie. Jumps from body to body for 5 years. So like I get it. I don't know how Spider-Man would be a body swap movie. I mean, they do have bodies.
Oh, if we're talking comic books and we're talking the Superior Spider-Man, yes.
Yeah, well, no, because he switches with Doc Ock in the comics, but we're more talking movies. So
yeah, but I'm trying to remember. Yes,
I mean, they did. They also did it in the comics too. Like so, like it did happen, but Brian also says Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal.
Yeah, Shallow. Okay, I mean,
Shallow Hal. His perception is just
not Shallow Hal. I can't agree with you on that one.
Shallow Hal
was a simple thing.
I think
saw a girl.
Yeah, it was just for Gwyneth Paltrow's character, right? That was the only thing he saw different.
No, he saw the beauty in everyone. And
Oh, was there really? Okay. It's been the movie theater since I last saw this movie, so it's been a while.
Yeah, he sees the beauty in everybody, so they kind of look different to him.
Okay.
Yeah. So like Shallow Hal, I wouldn't. I don't know that I classify it as that.
Yeah, Shallow Hal would be a stretch.
But like, all right. So Len, what else is on your list?
I mean, stuff that we already kind of like just talked about. There's really not much else because like I was going in like I said, between the cross dressing with that, the 80 comedies with like Big, and then I did like the sci-fi realm, which we already talked about, the Thing and Body Snatchers, and horror with Get Out. So I really didn't have a huge list besides that, which we already have basically discussed. So but getting back into superheroes though, would you guys consider any superhero that your human form that changes into like the Hulk or something along those lines? Are you guys considering that to be kind of a body swap-ish? Or not really?
Yeah.
Because
so on that vein, if you wanted to go that route, if I classify Big as a body swap movie, I would have to classify Shazam as a body swap movie.
I've never seen it, but that's the one with Shaq, right? Or correct me if I'm wrong.
No. Oh. That's Shazam. That's Shazam. Shazam, the one with Billy Batson in DC recently.
Way off then. Okay.
So Shazam is a body swap movie. It is. Hulk.
I struggle with that one because it's just him going up and down in body size because a kid frame can't handle the powers of Shazam.
No. He is switching bodies. It's not the kid grown up. It's not the kid grown up because remember he meets that old wizard in the beginning, and that's played by the one he gets the powers from, and that's played by Zachary Levi, and that's who he becomes. So to me, and in the comics, he's not a grown up Billy Batson. He is the god. That's who he turns into.
I've read different places that his body had to be aged up and built to capacity to sustain the powers of Shazam. But I understand that one.
But I mean, so I might count that as I'd kind of count that as a body swap personally.
So we have I have a household I guess pick for my wife. She snuck in a little letter. She says I've never seen it, so I don't know. The Parent Trap. Would you consider that to be one?
No,
the Parent Trap for me would be a good body swap movie, but it's a twin body swap. So they're not necessarily swapping bodies. It's just two kids that look alike that swap parents.
So it's like the Prince and the
opposite way.
They're switching their switching personalities, they're switching their identities almost in a way.
They're switching places. They're not switching. Which
gotcha.
If you made a body swap movie and a switching places movie, I would keep Parent Trap is definitely a switching places movie, but I'd almost move going back to our original argument, Face Off into a switching places movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. But we spent enough time on body swap movies, which we did not talk about basically any body swap movies that are like solidifying body swap.
Well, like what are some of yours? I feel like Jarrod and I have been like doing all of like the selections. What's like maybe 2 or 3 of yours? Anything?
Well, I mean, I kind of named them with the 18 again, the vice versa,
gotcha.
Like father, like son, the stuff like that. Like they really switch. But there's definitely one that we were to watch this week. It was our staff pick of the week, which we're going to analyze now. And that is Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn. Did you watch it, Jarrod? That's okay. Do you want to watch it, Jarrod?
So I did watch it, and I was watching it right up till the 7:30 movie hour, and I ran out of time, and I've got like 15 minutes left, but I'm pretty sure I can figure out the ending.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like devastating if you find out. We talk about it a little bit, but we'll try to avoid. So because Mike, it does fall in the realm of less than 10 years, which is I think, or 5 years, which is our cutoff.
Yeah, I mean, it came out like weeks ago. So
yeah, literally. So.
By our own rules, I cannot.
We just gotta be careful. We discuss.
Can't spoil it.
Yeah,
but we can talk about it. We can analyze the movie as for what it is. And my first point I want to bring to about this movie is this was a fantastically done body swap movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic comedy, and it was a fantastic horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jarrod, come on. Come on. Give that some respect.
Me and horror movies just have a terrible time together.
Really? Why?
He hates horror movies. He hates all good horror movies.
Like, he's not like or like, I mean, do you hate like the Jason Voorhees bloody like type of stuff, or do you just like more of the Hitchcock psychological aspect of a horror movie, like where you
I like more of this Hitchcock psychological thriller aspect of it, where I'm more worried about the character being scared than seeing violent or bloody images on screen to scare me.
Sure.
Yeah, he just
like
he hates all good ones.
Jeez,
all good ones. I gave him a whole list of good ones, and he hated them all.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what the list is, so I
50
can't.
some odd movies.
Yeah, he watched them all throughout like October, and he hated like every one but one. And I was just like, come on, man.
If you still have that email, please forward it to me because I'm actually curious to see what this list is composed of, and then I will give my 2 cents then to be like that.
Jarrod's coming back on. We're going to talk horror movies. Maybe, oh my God. At least he hasn't watched Get Out yet because the director will be on next week.
The Jordan Peele movie? Yeah, I saw that one.
Get away.
Get away.
Oh. Yes.
You guys, I've been body swapped.
Okay, Mike, if Behind the Box got Jordan Peele, I would be down going crazy, man.
Yeah, I would too. But yeah, well, I'll work on it. We'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Jordan, come on the show. Remember you said you would do it. Remember we went to college together and just try and convince them that we know each other. Just doesn't work that way. So for me, okay. Freaky was a great horror movie. I thought it was shot really well. I liked the cool look of the mask that he had in the beginning to hide the fact that it was Vince Vaughn. I like the feeling of the Aztec, doohickey, as I'll call it for this, because I don't want to give anything away. I
will admit that the explanation of how it worked was probably my favorite scene.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away.
I know,
it's a bad choice.
It's like, okay.
How do you analyze
that was probably my favorite scene, and it made me laugh the hardest. Just because they're high school kids.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in middle school now and taking a language, and I absolutely see them doing that. I don't.
This is the first time we're trying to talk about our selection pick without giving away the spoilers here. So this is interesting.
That is legit. I am doing my best. It's not.
I know.
Because I always promised I would not spoil movies for anybody.
Yes, you guys can buy it.
Because it's so new, I want people to check it out.
But literally, like you said, like I always check out, like after I know their picks, I always check on Wikipedia, read up on it, the pre-production, post-production stuff, any little fun tidbits. I was like literally like, wow, like this was just in the theater like probably 4 weeks ago. So I was like, okay. So
All right. So for me, before we get there, Len, what did you think about the movie? So let's sort
I
of do a
okay
spoiler-free
as
review.
as a freaky. I mean, obviously, it's like a Freaky Friday. So I'm hoping our audience knows the least about Freaky Friday. I mean, that's like the epitome of body swaps. So I like the horror rendition of it. There hasn't been too many horror renditions, if any. I mean, I really can't come to the mind. I was trying to think about this after I saw it of Freaky Friday type element. Um, I was gonna text you like the first few minutes in. I was like, all right, this is going horror theme, but then I could tell once I saw Vince Vaughn, I was gonna be like, all right, we're going in a different direction here. But in terms of a comedy, it was fun. I think a lot of body swap movies to begin with, not just this one, but I think a lot of them are prevalent with comedies because it's just fun. You can really stretch it out and have some fun with the characters, premises, whatever, however you want to do it. In this sense, it does. It has its own plot, which I don't know how much I want to give away without spoiling. So it definitely works on that end. Characters were great. I thought they were developed. They make fun of themselves. A certain scene where, two characters, I'm not spoiling who were running, and they're like, I'm gay and you're black. That means we're both dying within like 2 seconds. It was they said it.
Pretty funny.
I was like, all right, it's pretty funny that they can play how a horror movie is. That's basically always how it is. But I don't want to say anything what happens to those characters. But that was funny. No, it was a good staff pick. I have to say, it was fun. I would claim it more of a comedy than horror. Because, yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of on Wikipedia describing it as horror comedy, and I was like, yeah, like the first 10 minutes, and then it's like, all right, then it starts slowly transitioning to comedy.
Well, let me interject for a second there. One thing I want to say is I heard it a long time ago, and it always stuck with me. Horror comedies work if the comedy is treated like comedy and the horror is taken seriously.
Yeah.
So anytime a movie has kind of made the horror, it has not taken the horror seriously, I can see it. It really doesn't work. But think about the Shaun of the Deads. Think about
the Dead's like the best.
Even this, like freaky.
Well, wait.
Okay, but
for horror comedy done well. Okay.
Yeah, and think about Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Sure. Yeah.
The horror is horror. It's real. Dracula is really going to kill them. The Wolfman will really kill them. They're the funny
Jason
ones.
X.
No, that one it doesn't work for me. They tried to make
Jason X was a pure comedy for me.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But it can still be funny.
But
I don't think it's funny.
Jason X makes fun of itself even towards the end, where they have the hieroglyphic camp scene where it's like the girls and everything else. I mean, they're poking fun at themselves of what they've done for over 2 decades. So
yeah, so for me, when I look back at that, and I've heard that and I do agree with it, but I think Freaky really handled it well because the horror was taken seriously. People were in danger.
Yes. I mean, they did a good job with that part. Yes.
Yeah, and so
I will admit, for the part I saw, they did treat the horror aspects of it as genuine horror.
So
what I will also say is because of the premise of the movie, they handled the limitations of both characters absolutely fantastically also.
Yes, they did. They did a great job. So we didn't do a good job ourselves explaining the movie. So for anybody watching or listening,
I don't want to spoil it.
The movie stars Vince Vaughn as a serial killer in a small town who attacks a young high school student and switches bodies with her. So now the young girl is in Vince Vaughn's body, and he has to try and convince her friends that it's really her in his body and vice versa. So there's a very fun element to this movie that you have a great time with. And now to correct myself earlier to say I didn't mean this as a great horror movie. It's a great horror comedy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I do like the horror elements of it. I really liked how they did the horror side of things. I thought the effects were really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the kills were excellent. Overall, I just thought it was a really good movie that I will revisit.
I don't know if I would revisit it because now I'm not spoiling anything, but Vince Vaughn. I feel like since like Wedding Crashers, it's like his comedy stick for his movies is the same thing over and over. And so, I like him. I like Vince Vaughn, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like it's like, all right, here we go. The same dialogue, the same delivery. Here we go. We get, with it. But again, it's, it works. That's his stick. It works, So, I mean, if you look past that, it's good.
Okay. So then for me, like if that's like for Vince Vaughn, like for me, I was excited to see him come back into doing like a comedy again. Because for a while he's been doing mostly what do you call it? Dramas and things like that. And sticking with those, kind of going that route. So to see him come back into the comedy, I thought I didn't feel like he was over the top in this. I thought he did a really funny job playing a 16 or 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So who do you think would have done better as a 16-year-old girl, Jack Black or Vince Vaughn?
In this, Vince Vaughn, because it's taking the horror element seriously. If you put Jack Black in there, if you put Jack Black in there, it's not. It takes me away from the horror aspect, and then it's just you're trying to be a comedy. What's up, Mike? Welcome to the show, buddy. Mike, of course, just a quick plug, hosts a Showboys podcast. Go check it out. But yeah, so for me, like I'm not saying you couldn't switch, but you need somebody who can toe the line of straight man who can pull off drama, and comedy. And Jack Black has done drama, and he's done some good stuff in drama. I just think he's too goofy to pull this role off.
I would have said the same thing, except when I saw Robin Williams do Insomnia.
Okay.
No, Robin Williams has done drama before. Insomnia, though, that I thought has worked. It's not been comedy his entire time. So, I mean, that's just my opinion on that. But I get where you're going, though, because like Jack Black, I've never seen him besides having the small supporting role, and I still know what he did last summer, where he, I don't even consider that, but he still had that comedy shtick to that character. So I've never even seen him attempt horror. So in this case, I think Vince Vaughn, same situation, but took what he was given and delivered it well for the horror side.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that statement.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many people on his end that could have pulled this off, because you needed to have a slapstick type of vibe to you to also pull off what he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But overall, so would you guys say that this was a winner of a movie?
No, yeah, I said it from before. I said it was a good selection, pick from this. Now, was it your pick, Mike, or do we have an audience member make the suggestion to us?
No, they didn't accept the Patreon yet. No, I'm just so with me. I picked this one because we were going to get into body swap movies.
I got you. Okay.
I just thought it'd be nice to go with sort of a new movie.
Gotcha.
Something different, kind of like breathe some life into what we watch.
Have you seen this movie prior to this week's viewing, showing, or whatever?
No, this is.
Okay, so you heard like word of mouth then.
Yeah, I was excited too. I really enjoyed it. I watched it last night. Not last night. A couple of nights ago.
Yeah, I
I've
watched
got
it.
15 minutes left. We'll figure out how it is in a couple
Well, we
minutes.
want to hear.
It's a fun 15 minutes. You'll enjoy it. Definitely finish it up there, I gotta say. But yeah, no, I watched mine during my treatment session today, so it worked out. So nice.
Well, so for us, we got a lot going on. Very excited for it. I think, Jarrod, you're joining us next week, correct?
Possibly, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, stick around,
Invitations
Jarrod.
out there, please. We enjoy you, so please.
Please come on back, man. We're gonna have a fun show next week. We have some special guests who are.
Wait, which
joining
was the one next week? Was that the one where? Well, I'll let you finish your shit.
So next week we are doing.
By the way, going back to what we said
have-
before, there's nothing to lose. This is Mike and me in real life, by the way, Jared. Just so in case you were wondering. So.
Yeah, it's legit. That is the height difference for sure. All right, so next week though we have a very special show. We have Blaine Weaver, who's director of the movie Getaway, a new horror movie that is coming out on December 22nd. We're going to be promoting that. We also have the directors Esham and Ian Nelms, who are the directors of Mel Gibson's new movie Fat Man. They're going to be joining the show. Jarrod, I guess, is going to be joining the show as well. I think we convinced Jarrod.
I think you will. That's good.
All these other filmmakers, all I had to do is be like, "Hey, you want to be on the show? We're going to talk about this." And they're like, "Yeah." Jarrod's like, "Who's going to be on the show? I need to."
Yeah, I am. That's the selling point. I'm going to be here, so we're good.
I'm coming.
I'm pretty sure Casey might join the fold too. Kind of round us out. So next week, our topics are how long would each of us survive a horror movie?
Okay.
And our favorite Psycho Santas. So
like, funny thing, I just did a video on it.
What's up?
Did you? For Psycho Santas?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
I did the whole Christmas timeline, starting from Santa Claus is Coming to Town in 1970 to Fat Man in 2020.
Wait, what'd you do? Because I tapped out. You put together all the Santa movies, or what?
So I have this weird habit of watching way too many movies, and I start putting together shared universes. And I made a timeline for Santa Claus from the 1970s. Santa Claus is Coming to Town with Kris Kringle and the Heatmeister and all of them. I drew out a timeline to get you to Fat Man 2020.
That's great. You are going to present this next week, correct?
If Mick wants to show it, that's up to Mick.
You have no.
But my favorite scary Santa is also in that episode.
Keep it to yourself and wait for next week. All right, we're going to do this for next week.
Bill Goldberg. My guess will be Bill Goldberg.
No, stop guessing. No guessing.
No guessing.
You got to leave people wanting to come to the next episode.
I know. I didn't say to give out the answers. I just said my guess would be this.
We don't want your guess until next week.
I will say there's one other one that actually makes me that much more happy.
What's that?
One other one. It's the Christmas Horror Story.
I've seen that with William Shatner's in that, isn't he? No.
I lost everybody. I can't see anyone.
Jarrod. We can hear you.
Anybody
I'm just going to leave him doing that while we finish up. All right. So next week, we have a very special guest, the Nelms brothers, who directed Fat Man. We have Blaine Weaver, who directed Getaway, and so many other movies. They all have such great filmographies. Go check them out, and I will be blasting that out. Mm-hmm. Lenny will be there. Jarrod will be there. I think Casey might pop by. We'll see who else. It's a party every Wednesday night at 7:30 on Behind the Box. BTB podcast. That's the way to look for us. Check out everything on thescenesnobs.com. We've also started a Patreon. We have 2 Patreon tiers for Behind the Box. So if you enjoy this show, make sure you jump in, and you're going to get extras there. So that'll be a lot of fun. So going forward, we are going to be doing a bracket show that's a part of Behind the Box. That's what I want to announce now. So like we do movie bracket tournaments. Len and I will choose. There are also in the tiers, there are rewards for people to choose different topics and stuff, and submissions as well. So go check that out on the Scene Snobs Patreon. There's all over social media. You can check that out. So tonight, 9:30 p.m., we have live the Jeff Dwoskin Show's presents. Oh, we lost him. Crossing the Streams. 5 comedians talking about their favorite TV shows. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. They're very funny guys, and you get to talk about TV. It's a breath of fresh air. Tomorrow we have a full house. We have the Sports Snobs podcast at 9 a.m. You can check out the podcast and the video after the live show at any time. I'm going to let him back in so he can say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you got at 7:30 p.m. you have Rob Paints the Movies, which is live. Go check that out right here on the Scene Snobs channel. And then the Guapo Show, episode 2, will be up, and special guest Alan Santana, Ricardo Sandoval, who just fought this past weekend. We have Salim Larbi, who is a French boxer, and Don Saxby, who's a boxing trainer out of New York. So Guapo has them all on the show, and we're talking to them. It was a lot of fun to sit in on that. And then Friday, we have our Very Mutant Christmas special. I'm very excited about that because it is here it is. Friday night, we are doing a Very Mutant Christmas special for the Mutant pregame show. Frank and Mary and I will be hosting. It starts at a special time of 8 p.m. right after the Mutant Cafe, and we go right up until Joe Bob's special starts at 9 p.m. And it's going to be a great time. So grab the eggnog, grab the sweaters, grab the tree, and just join in. It's going to be a good one. With that being said, and then we have the NFL Sports Snobs NFL Pick Show on Saturday. That's our week. Oh, and the Scene Snob, interviews.
We are booked.
Yeah, this every night. We have content every day. But this was a really fun interview I did with Itai Guberman, who is a filmmaker out of Australia. And we talked about a lot of stuff. So it's some really cool stuff. So go check that out. That'll be broadcasting 7 p.m. Sunday night. And then I'll talk to you about next week. Yeah. We did have the Scene Snobs podcast last night. That was a lot of fun too. So I want to thank our very special guest who is quickly turning into a third mic, Jarrod, for joining the show. We appreciate you, buddy. It's always a fun time when you're here, and we will see you next week. You're going to be on.
Please.
And then, also let me know if I sent you both stuff.
Oh no! Curses.
He didn't get to say goodbye, but we know he loves us.
We know he meant it. He always is. Big heart.
And I am going to get gushy about 2 things real quick. Chris Sales, who is an avid watcher and fan of the Scene Snobs, who's a wonderful guy, sent me some very cool stuff. He sent me a fanny pack, which I'm going to start wearing.
Oh, that's awesome.
It looks like a VHS. It's so cool.
I love it.
He sent me a DeLorean keychain for the 35th anniversary.
Nice.
And also he sent me a very cool holographic picture. It is so awesome.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
It was very sweet of him to do. He's a wonderful guy.
I think he's got like VIP status now for BTB or for the Scene Snobs in general, man. That's great.
I know, right? Chris, give me your email address or your address, and I'll send you some cool Scene Snobs swag.
That's awesome.
Send you guys some Scene Snobs swag that should be coming to you soon. Okay, so I want to say thank you again to Jarrod, who's probably going to be bounced out in a second. Yep, there we go. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's back.
All right.
And I want to say to my appreciative, my wonderful co-host on this show, Mr. Len Miller. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We had a good time. Remember to join us next week, everybody. BTB is all about the best friends. Chris. Oh, cool. I did get it. I just got it today. I opened it up, and I wanted to announce it on the show. I'm so glad you're here to see it. I am so happy about that. Thank you so much, dude. And send me your address so I can send you cool Scene Snob stuff. And thank you for Mike. Thank you for Brian. Thank you for Tina. Everybody joining in tonight. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just going to stop talking. Anyway, you guys want to say anything before I leave?
No, just as always, appreciate it to the audience. Glad you guys joined us. fun night as always here. We just, shoot back, have some fun, like the old school hangout days, and just be safe out there, everybody.
All right. Jarrod, I don't even know if he can hear us right now.
I hope he does. No,
We love you, Jarrod. You'll be back.
He'll be